Big day for the Fed. After 2 years of taking aggressive action to fight inflation, today the Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates. This will be the first time since 2020, pre-pandemic. Joining us to discuss how this could affect day-to-day living is economist Mike Walden. Mike, thanks for taking some time for us. We appreciate it. Any cut, 25 or 50 basis points, what's the first tangible thing people will notice?
Well, first of all, I got my happy face on because this is a happy day for many people. Well, we've already actually seen the markets move in anticipation of the Federal Reserve's cut. Mortgage rates have actually gone down. Credit card rates have dipped a little bit. So this has already worked in the soup, if you will. And if for some strange reason the Federal Reserve does not cut interest rates, all that would be taken back. But I think the way to look at this is the Federal Reserve doesn't control interest rates. They set the standard. And it's going to be very interesting to look at two things. Number one, how much do they cut? My betting is on 0.25%. Others think 0.5%. And then secondly, what do they say after they cut? And I would anticipate that they're going to hint there'll be several more cuts through this year as well as next year.
So 0.25 is what you're guessing. On the other side of it, no cut, and then maybe 0.5, a half a point. Does it matter? Is there a difference in there?
Well, certainly it matters to people who are looking to immediately borrow. If they want the half a point cut, that would be bigger. But the Federal Reserve they balance two goals. One is to keep inflation under control. The other is to keep unemployment low. And they've been working on the inflation side. Right now, though, we've seen some upticks in the unemployment rate, so that has them worried. So I think they're probably going to sort of split the difference and say, well, let's go with 0.25%. That will still maintain our fight against inflation, but they can always come back. I think the next time they meet, ironically, is the day after the election. They can always come back and cut more. So that's why I'm leaning toward the 0.25% cut.
Yeah. And could it be a magic bullet? Is there such a thing, or is this just a first in a series of steps?
I think it's the first in a series of steps, and I think there is bona fide worry. I'm not predicting a recession, but clearly the economy has slowed down. That's always the balancing act of the Fed. Too fast, too slow. Right now, I think they're worried about too slow. So I think that's number one, why they're going to do a cut now and why they're going to do further cuts. And in terms of people looking to buy a big ticket item like a home, I think the best time to do that is probably not right now when rates are going down, but expect more cuts. So I would look springtime that we could see significantly lower mortgage rates which would help people buy homes.
We have about 15 seconds, Mike, and you already touched on the uptick in the unemployment rates, so the job market could be affected. What about things like everyday prices, groceries? We've seen gasoline come down.
Well, we have seen the inflation rate modestly go down. That doesn't mean prices are going down. It means the rate of increase. Where we want to get, Jeff, is a situation where we maybe have 1 or 2% inflation, which is low enough that people's raises will keep them above water. We haven't been there in a while. So we don't expect all prices to go down. Some will, but what we expect is what the Federal Reserve wants is maybe a 1 to 2% rate of increase in prices year over year.
We'll be watching closely. I know you will be as well, and we'll talk again. Economist Mike Walden, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jeff.
We are also closely watching how the markets are moving in anticipation of this expected interest rate cut. You can see the Dow Jones Industrial Average in the red, down 90 points. Stocks are wavering in the uncertainty of how aggressive this interest rate cut will be. The S&P 500 down 10 points and NASDAQ down about 60 points at this hour.